All right, guys. Thanks for coming out today. I appreciate y'all adjusting the schedule accordingly with obviously a short week. Going back and watching the game versus Temple, um, obviously great team win. Very pleased with the defense and the way they were played for 60 minutes. The things they were able to do, especially with the turnovers later in the game, the difference. And they got to continue to be consistent, and that's what they've shown they can do the last few games. Got to clean up some of the missed tackles, which was an issue, obviously, for some of their explosives, and shore up some things here and there. Special teams played pretty sound. Offensively, obviously, pretty disappointed. I think our quarterback plays hard. I think the team, the offense plays hard, but not in the direction we need to go. Like I said, you go and look at the lack of execution. First and foremost, it's always going to be on me as the head coach to make sure we're putting our players in the right position, and us as an offense staff to make sure that the plays are appropriate in order for us to have success. But you go and look at one play, and you can almost delve into it just watching the film again. One guy on each play not doing exactly what we need to do, whether it's making a catch, right, a contested catch, non-contested catch, breaking a tackle, making the appropriate block, making the right call, a missed assignment here. And so then those things, one play after another, led to a poor performance by our offense. But the one thing I took away from that game, and I told the guys in the locker room last night before the press conference, is you could really see their grit. You could see the perseverance of this team, and that's something we can be proud of. And there's going to be ups and downs in a college football season. There's going to be goods and bads. There's going to be times that the offense is going to have to play significantly better than the defense. Special teams are going to have to step up. Whatever that may look like throughout the year, we'll always be able to hang our hat on the way we play. Now, they don't give trophies out for being 4-1. They don't give out rewards for playing tough and hard. That's the minimum expectations of our program. So we've got to find ways to improve. We've got to find ways to improve quickly. Guys' day off today physically. We'll have some meetings and make sure they're taking care of their bodies as we get ready for a great Houston team. There's a reason that Houston was picked to finish first in the conference, because they are loaded with talent. They have a surefire top pick as a wide receiver in Dell. Clayton Tune is a fifth-year starter at quarterback, so we know those veteran quarterbacks, what they're capable of and how great they can be, and they have a great understanding of this offense and what they're able to do. Defensively, they got an all-conference safety, an all-conference linebacker. They got DNs that pin their ears back and go. So we know what they're capable of. We know how talented they are. We got to come in and find ways to continue to improve ourselves. Looking forward to a great crowd Friday night. It should be a beautiful evening at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and excited to get back for preparations and ready for a great conference game versus Houston.
Ryan, when you look at the offense, you mentioned it's the one thing that keeps adding up. How concerning is it that the one thing keeps adding up more and more? It seems like these last two games where maybe some misplay here, misplay there, but it keeps adding up to where the offense isn't executing the way you want it to.
Yeah, it is concerning, and kind of like I mentioned, I think the biggest thing for us, Evan, is we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We've seen that we can be explosive. We've seen that we can sustain drives. We've seen that we can do the things we're capable of, and it is concerning because it's not. These past two Saturdays, it hasn't come to fruition, and so I want us to coach our guys really hard, show them the way we can do things. We got to look at it as an offensive staff and say, okay, are these plays, these schemes, do we need to change something up? Do we need to approach something different? We have our playbook, and we're not sitting there throwing the playbook out and saying, but is there something that we need to do or put our guys in better situations? So sleepless night last night, really, just to make sure that we're on the same page with where we need to go. And Coach Cramsey and our offense staff understand that we've got to get better, and our players do too. And look forward to watching the film with them here this afternoon and seeing ways that we can improve. I think they all know that. And whether it's catching a football, right, those are the basic fundamentals that we're missing. A misstep on a block, right, a route 2 yards short, a quarterback misread. Those are things that are all correctable. And so the concerns are, yes, they're basic fundamental things that we're not doing and executing. The positive to that is it's not the end, because we're able to fix those things. So if all of a sudden we get it fixed, and we've seen it in games that we're capable of doing it, and so just got to put it to work. And we can't allow one play to have an effect on the next play. Now, obviously, when you get behind the chains and you're not able to do things you're able to do, it can be concerning, but we'll get that fixed this week.
Does it make it any more difficult or less difficult, the fact that it's not necessarily the same trend over and over? Like, one play, it's dismiss that or whatever, does that change how you approach trying to fix it?
No, because it's offense as a whole, and it's every position room knows that there's things that can be fixed. Yeah, it's always easy if you just pinpoint and say, "Man, it's the head coach." I've got to do a better job putting our guy the play calling, right? That's easy, right? Or if it's, hey, it's just position Z that's got to get fixed, and here maybe it's a personnel change, or maybe we can get this fixed with some missed assignments. So yeah, that is a little bit like, hey, why are we in each room? Why are there certain issues that are occurring? And the one thing is, like I said, the fundamental things of those things are correctable. And so our guys, it would be one thing if our players didn't understand, like, oh, no, we're fine. Like, you just got to call better plays. And they know what we need to do. And so that's why I'm not sitting here saying it's the end of the world for our offense. Like, we're going to get better. We're going to get it right. We've got a short week to get it fixed, but we will.
How
Hey,
much
Brian,
do you give?
it's a small window between a good team and a great team. You're doing the little things to get it done, but to be a special team, how much emphasis are you putting on that? You can be good, go to a bowl, blah blah blah, but if you want to be great, you get to the next level to improve those little things.
Absolutely, and I think, Terry, that's exactly right. We're doing enough to win games, but it doesn't mean that we're even close to where we need to be. And the little things, everything that we're doing has to get fixed and improve upon quickly, because we know a talented team like Houston, we can't go out there and play like we did, yesterday. We don't give ourselves a chance. So I think our team understands that. They really do, and we harp on every detail of what we need to do to execute everything that we're, from an assignment standpoint, from a play calling standpoint. We are as focused as we've ever been, and excited about the opportunity to get better. And I don't think our guys sit here and say, oh, yeah, we've done some good things. No, we're not here to just line up and do some good things. We've got to find a way to go 1-0 this week and find ways to improve. And I think, frankly, our guys are ready to the next challenge, ready for the next opportunity. It will come soon enough, but there's no sitting there hanging our head, okay, we did these things, we're good. No, exactly right. That good is not what we want here. And good enough, if you play like that and then you don't improve, then you're not going to win many more games after that.
How much do you look at? And obviously, you obviously don't want to blame injuries, but do you see any differences without Gamble and Myers in there, where this offense maybe just isn't as fluid as it's been the last 6 quarters or so they haven't played?
Yeah, look, Myers and Gamble are great football players. They're guys that have played some good football for the University of Memphis, and we know that they're capable. It's our job to get those other guys to play at a high level. And, we saw some good things from those guys that are in there, but injuries are a part of football, and so we can't have excuses. It's our job to get a Mac Pounders or a Braxton Alford ready to play at a high level. They did some good things. Can they improve? Absolutely. So whoever's lining up for us, whether there's guys that are injured, they've got to be able to step up. It's got to be a next man up mentality no matter what the position is.
With that, though, do you see a change where maybe the offense just is starting to maybe be a quicksand effect, where if a block is missed or a block is missed there, the offense is starting to kind of feel like, okay, we got some issues. Not blaming them, but more just do you see a change in these last 6 quarters where, hey, something's missing and we have to fix, because, and it's not correlated to those 2 guys out, but since they've been out, the offense has kind of been off these last 6 quarters.
Yeah, I think we've struggled to get into a rhythm early in games, and I go back to what we've been able to do. I will always be thrilled to be a fourth quarter team. Now, it may cause the old ticker some issues down the road with. There's no putting these games away anytime early. But the people in the concession stands probably appreciate we're keeping fans in the stands and keeping it interesting. The reality of it is, Evan, you go back and you say, okay, what are we doing? What is it? And we're able to finish games the right way. And you look and say, okay, the end of a lot of our games, right? Midway through the third quarter, even this game, just all fourth quarter, right? The game before, midway through the third quarter, right? Navy game, midway through the third quarter. And so we're playing our best football towards the end of games. Now, is it getting into a rhythm? Is it having an understanding? Is it being to the point where we feel like we're better conditioned than our opponent? Maybe, that we feel like, okay, we prepared the right way all off season so we can wear down a team. And then when the going gets tough, okay, we're locked and loaded and we feel like we've prepared the right way and we're able to roll through a fourth quarter. So, I would like to start faster. Absolutely, we have to find that way. And you never want to go into a game, especially midway through the third quarter, 0 points. I mean, that's unacceptable. Um, but I do think the way we are built, the way we've been conditioned, is no matter what the score is, 17 all, 50 to 49, 0 to 3 in the third quarter, that we know that we're capable of what we can do in the fourth quarter in order to take over a game.
The fact that you guys still are winning games while going through this rust patch offensively, what does that say about the potential that this team has throughout the season?
Yeah, I've always told you guys, I think the mindset and the approach of this team is phenomenal. It's the best I've been around a long time, and the potential is there, but that doesn't mean a darn thing unless we can put it on paper. I think we're showing that we're capable of doing a lot of things, right? We've shown that we're capable of having explosive offense and hitting the long balls and be able to break the runs and be able to block well and be able to tackle well and be able to get turnovers and play clean football. But the biggest thing for us is just being able to stack a complete game. And once you stack a complete game, then you became a good to great team. And then the great ones are able to do it and really well at a high level. And we haven't shown that yet. And that's part of that potential, that ceiling there's no ceiling for us. Like, how do we even get from good to great? And we're clawing at it, but we're not close.
How do you look at this Houston team? Not Houston, excuse me. You've been here for this rivalry for 7 years now. You've seen where these games have been back and forth. Big thrillers. Obviously, last year didn't go the way you wanted. What is it about this game, one, that the guys shouldn't get up for, and two, is it going to be a shame that this series will not be continued because they're going to the Big 12 next year?
Yeah, look, a lot of credit. They're a program that's had a lot of talent, a lot of success over the years. I've been fortunate to be a part of this great rivalry. And I think that people get the sense, our fans understand the importance of the game. There's a rivalry. We have a lot of fans from the Houston area. We have a lot of players from the Houston area. So I think that's part of it, right? There's that uniqueness of, okay, hey, you play in Arkansas State that may be regionally closer, but sometimes maybe our footprint may be a little bit more in Houston. And we've seen the back and forth of those games. Anytime you have the opportunity now to go play a team that's highly ranked, that was a preseason top 25, I think that's important. Look, the future schedules is we can control what we control. They're the conference realignment, all that stuff. I think it's ever changing, and that's maybe that's another discussion for another time. But just excited to play them Friday night, and I know our fans are going to be there. It's another national TV game for us, and I think it's great to be able. Both programs can put this type of rivalry on display.
And speaking of which, maybe you don't have a favorite moment, but is there kind of something where this rivalry seems to bring out a lot of greatness in both of these teams? Is there something that kind of maybe stands out to you? Is it 17? Is it whatnot? Or
Yeah, the walk-off kickoff, walk-off field goal by Riley Patterson. I think obviously there weren't many fans in the stands for that one, but that was pretty darn special for what he was able to do and the way the team was able to win that game. But hopefully we can continue to create another memorable moment in the favor of the Tigers this Friday night.
Speaking of conditioning, you expecting anybody back this week who may not be out, and any injury update other than the regular function bruises of the midseason?
Yeah, I think we came out last night pretty healthy, is what you want. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a short week, right, getting the guys back, getting their legs back underneath them. Houston has had, they'll have a full week. They played a Friday night to a Friday night, which is favorable for them. But no excuses. We got to get our guys back. And then we'll see. With us not practicing today, I'll have a much better feel for where we're at from an injury standpoint tomorrow to see who can truly go. Because, sometimes on a shorter week, time runs out, and then, these guys that you expected back, maybe they can't get back in time. But we'll have a better understanding, especially tomorrow morning for practice.
So, obviously, this isn't your first short week, but when you do have a short week, what does that look like practice-wise and just the time that you guys have to prepare?
Yeah, the advantage of playing an 11 a.m. game was right after that game, you tell your guys to take care of their bodies, but then as a coaching staff, you're able to watch that game right away that you just watched. So whether coaches were able to watch it at home on their laptops or iPads or come up to the office and put that game kind of to bed. So last night, obviously, watched the Temple game, early game, was able to take all the notes that we needed on it. And then last night actually started watching some Houston. And then this morning, again, making sure we're all on the same page as a staff with a staff meeting going over Temple. And then now we're preparing for Houston. So this afternoon, we still need to discuss Temple with our guys because there's so much to learn from and so much that we can get better from. And now today is kind of, every day is like a next day. So Monday is a Tuesday in my mind. I have no idea that it'll be whatever, October 3rd, right? It's all tomorrow in my mind is going to be a Tuesday. All right, now that you look around, Tuesday's going to be a Wednesday, so we just kind of move the own calendar in my head. That's the only way I'm smart enough to think of things as we progress. But we'll be smart with the way we practice. I'm not saying that we won't cut back a ton of periods, but we're going to be, we got to make sure we're fresh. And, you just can't just say, okay, we're going to come out and bang and do the same old things we've always done because it is moved up a full day. So we'll be smart. We may cut some periods and some practice just to see where we are to make sure that we're, as good as we can be, healthy, fresh for the game Friday night.
Getting those extra hours in that early kickoffs definitely helped you.
Yeah, it did. It does help. I know the fans aren't necessarily always a fan of the 11 a.m. game. Again, I can't take the blame on that one. ESPN was kind enough to us to do that, but it does help because, some of these we've played away games, and I go back to when we played at Tulsa on a late night Saturday night game. We got back home at 5 a.m. and then we turned back around and played Navy on a Thursday night. It's like those times okay, well, I haven't slept. I'll sleep, maybe that Friday night if that opportunity presents itself after the next game. But I think this schedule is set up fine, so we should be okay in clicking on all cylinders.
As your first midterm, how would you grade your 3 units, man? It's mid-season report, midterm report. How would you grade special teams, defense, and offense?
I haven't even thought about it being midterm. We still got a lot of football left to play. But, special teams, I think we're seeing the improvements made week to week. Still a ton to clean up. And, there's been some shuffling of personnel like there always is in special teams as the season goes on. I challenged, like I told you, our kickoff unit to improve. Obviously, the punt team continues to do some really nice things. Our kickoff return units seem to do better, but just not enough. We got to be able to get the explosive play. Too many missed blocks on that stuff. And then our punt return, I think there's opportunities there for Eddie and some of our guys to be able to do some stuff, continue to put pressure on the punter. So, special teams, we've got a lot to improve. You're not going to get letter grades from me out here because that'll be a whole nother article. Defensively, we've seen some really good stuff the past 2 weeks, and I think the ability to get takeaways is going to be key for us the rest of the year. It doesn't matter what we do on offense. If our defense can get takeaways and the offense is playing great, if the offense is playing subpar and the defense getting takeaways, you have a chance in every single game. So I think also the conformality of getting used to Coach Barnes' defense and the scheme and the variety of different things. And I know you guys are seeing like, wait, I thought they were 4 down. Wait, now they're 3 down. Now they're playing cover 3. Now they're playing cover 2. And so I think being able to mix up some of the schemes, allowing our guys to play a little bit quicker, and then sometimes that allows you to get those turnovers. And then offensively, one of the things going in, you guys asked this summer, what's a big thing that we wanted to work on, and it was ball security, owning the football. Obviously, it's back to a few weeks, that at the end of the game, and I take full blame. We shouldn't have dropped back pass. I got full faith in Glover to pass the ball, but missed assignment up front, and that's 100% on me. I take pride in being able to manage a game the appropriate way. Like I told you guys, that's poor on me, and I'm really mad at myself for that. But offensively, right, we've been able to own the football. But I keep using the word consistency. We have not been consistent enough. And you're exactly right. We've got to find ways. Grading it's not good enough. And we've got to find ways to continue to be consistent as an offense. I've got great faith. We got great players. And it's on me to make sure that we are finding ways to have success on offense.
Ryan, last thing for me. You mentioned the crowd, obviously, Friday night. Are you just when you guys run out to the field, what are you seeing when you guys come out? Are you noticing what the crowd looks like, and are you expecting a big crowd on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things you don't ever want to take for granted, the ability to be, the opportunity to be a head football coach. So when it's an honor for me every time I get to run out of the tunnel with our team and with our guys. So I always look up at the crowd, and the size doesn't matter to me. I just see that, man, these people have paid to come, and the opportunity to play in front of our great fans. So whether it's 25,000 fans or 45,000 fans, the people in the stands are the ones that have made a commitment and a sacrifice on a Saturday, paid money to come watch our guys play. So I'm grateful for those fans. So every time I look up there, whether every seat's filled or not, it's a lot of pride, and I'm grateful for that opportunity, and so is our team. And I do expect a huge crowd Friday night. I think our fans are going to show up. I think the weather's going to be perfect. I think that they're going to be excited about this, the direction of their team. I think they're quite proud of the way things are going. It may not be, what they always said, hey, this is what Memphis football is used to, but that's great. I mean, winning games helps. But I expect to see a huge crowd Friday night. I know our fans will show up.
Does it worry at all what the size is? Does it worry at all what the size looks like at some of these games, or not really? Because you said it's just who's there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my job is to win football games and graduate student athletes. If we can win, that's all I can control. But look, I know our fans show up, and those that can make it do. And to sit there and look at attendance numbers here or there, no. But our fans have been fantastic, and the ones that do show up have been loud. They've been proud, and our players sense that, and they feel that.
Hey Ryan, I know at the beginning of the season, you guys were picked in the middle of the pack. Now you're at the top of the pack, and you play in Houston. You got a chance to push them behind you, and get further to your goal. What's the importance? I know this is the biggest game of the week because it's the only game of the week. Because how important is it to try to eliminate and cause to make it to make a closer step to the conference championship?
Yeah, it's I haven't looked at the standings. It doesn't, it's 1 week at a time. It truly is, and like I even used the term yesterday with Coach Beak. There's no got our blinders on, and all we can truly do is focus on this Houston game. You're exactly right. It's the most important game of the season. It's the next one, and yes, it's a conference game. It's a huge rivalry, so it's very important. But this is the next step in the right direction to what we need to accomplish. I can't worry about what other teams are doing. Really, what's happened. You look at Houston's last games. I mean, a couple of their losses, they lost to an undefeated Kansas team, and a couple of their other losses are to some really good teams in overtime. So this is a very, very talented team that's done some really good things, and we know that we're going to get their best effort. So we've got enough effort and mindset and approach just to focus on this game.